For watching, the Australian newspaper has just published on its website the latest Newspoll. There is a question about bushfires and its cause that I find the most interesting here, but the gap is closing. 51-49, there was a change in the Labor vote, which apparently has gone down. Also, you can see now that it is a even closer number there. Surprise, surprise. Albo's time as preferred Prime Minister may well be coming to an end. And I'd imagine after a $1.6 trillion idea that's going to run for, the next 10 elections. But here's what's interesting. What's the biggest cause for the recent bushfires? 56% of people say hazard reduction. 35% of people say climate change. Cory, let's deal with the last part of that first, because, look, polls will come up, they'll come down. There's changes in preferences, all the rest of it here. But it's a really big repudiation to the Twitter crowd, and again, much of the media narrative that has been built and the politics that has been informed since. Now, you know and I know, normal people know that whatever is going on in the broader climate, whatever is going on in the broader global issues, the absolute truth is when you turn land into national parks, when you lock them up, when you reduce the amount of the ability to clear the fuel, if for whatever reason a bushfire starts, be it lightning or arson, it's going to take off. And that's where the majority of Australians are, and I am so pleased, so prominently, front page of the national newspaper, that fact is there for all to see.
Paul, I agree with you 100%. We all know that political polls are treated with cynicism, and that's why I say they're spaghettified. They're all over the place. It's just like they've been thrown against a wall. But polls about critical issues, such as what is the cause of these recent bushfires or what's the major contributor to it, where people give an honest opinion about it. And they know that if you don't cut fire breaks through national parks, if you don't manage burn-offs in a prudent sense, if you don't clear the underbrush, then you're going to have these huge problems. And 56% of people have belled the cat, that it is effectively the Greens, the state government inaction, and the radicals who say the environment comes before people that should wear the most culpability in this space.
Well, and Senator, that is exactly where the Royal Commission into the bushfires is going, because if that's people's perception, belief of what happened, I believe there's an awful lot of evidence that will back them up. A Royal Commission is either going to dissuade everyone of the opinion that is false, or it is actually going to expose the reality.
Well, exactly, and I think I can remember speaking to a farmer outside of Mackay who had two properties. One property he'd done some clearing on, he was permitted to do some clearing on. Another property, desperately, he tried to get permission from the Queensland State Government to do some clearing. He wasn't permitted. When he got hit by bushfires, the property where he'd done some clearing recovered relatively quickly. The property he wasn't allowed to do any clearing, it was like a furnace, an incinerator. All the wildlife, all the natural flora and fauna was incinerated, destroyed. And he was aghast, and people know this. People on the ground know this. This is the reality they're facing every day. They know the truth of this, and ideally hope it comes out in the Royal Commission.